Okay, welcome everyone to the February 12th meeting of the Metroplex Board. Thanks for being here. First item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of the January 15th meeting. Thank you. Do you have a second? Karen, any comments, suggestions? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We go right into our resolutions tonight. An exciting project at 426 Franklin Street, right on the corner of Franklin J. We'll ask Jamie to summarize two resolutions.
Right, a new application has come in for 426 Franklin Street. You'll probably recognize the building from the photos in the write-up, right across the street from City Hall and the Open Door Bookstore on pedestrian J Street. We have two action items today. One is to hold a public hearing on the project. The second item is to seek lead agency designation for seeker because City Hall is a historic property. It's on the historic register. The close proximity of this project requires us to treat it as a type 1 action, which means a coordinated review. So we'll go through that process and get all the necessary sign-offs. And as you know, we've done this many times over the years. Project is in a building that's been vacant for many years now. We're very excited about the building getting repopulated. Gut rehab is going to take place. Chris and Brooks Sprarigan are buying the building. Their plans are to have ground floor retail, second floor commercial uses, offices and other things. $2.4 million project. The building is 17,000 square feet. It also comes with a couple of small parking lots nearby, which are going to be very convenient for their customers and guests and tenants in the building. Metroplex's participation is a $175,000 grant and our typical financial assistance for sales tax, mortgage tax, and real property exemptions. So we would hold a public hearing in a couple of weeks, and hopefully we can complete seeker quickly enough. We'll be back to the board at the March meeting.
Motion on this, Sharon. Second. Brad, thank you. Just make a couple comments here. Chris and Brooks Bergen are a great team. They run Schenectady Hardware and Electric, one of the largest electrical contractors in the region. This is a building that we're very excited about moving forward on. It continues the momentum of J Street. Whistling Kettle has done what we wanted it to do, which is to transform that part of J Street. This is literally across the street. It's this modern office building, very nondescript. It needs a total gut rehab, and it's a critical location, right across from City Hall. We're really excited. Jamie said it has parking, and then it has a satellite parking lot on Clinton Street, oddly enough. That's in terrible shape, and they plan to improve that. It's a big project. They're capable of doing these projects. They've done many. Great team. You have two young developers who are very committed to Schenectady. We just couldn't be more excited about this. This is like purposeful, driven, focused development. You move up J. This is a huge building that is just an eyesore now. And the people on J Street, the businesses, are just thrilled that we're going to bring this building back. So we have to answer any questions. Yes.
Any exterior plans?
I thought you might ask that question, Neil, so
I also have a suggestion.
we'll look at the renderings first.
Okay.
This is the concept plan that's been proposed by the owners.
These things for thinking that
We always try to
just
get
don't
that.
get over.
It hasn't gone to planning commission yet, but it is a very nice design. We're very excited about it.
They're gonna run the farmer's market though?
Well, the farmer's market is right outside at City Hall.
that's
That's the nice thing, and we're, it's a concept at this point.
So they are gonna re-facade the front.
Yes, it
Yes.
needs.
Because I was gonna suggest if they didn't, steam clean the whole building out.
Yeah, anyone, you need more copies? It's really gonna really jazz up that corner. And it wasn't an easy project. We've shown this building a number of times. The owners are located out of state. They, had a different understanding what the value was. It took a lot of time and effort to get this deal.
Did they have any tenants there yet?
They're doing it all in spec, which is a real vote of confidence in Schenectady. They're talking with tenants. They think that with the momentum on J and the whole area around City Hall coming back, they'll be successful. That's the nice thing about this deal is they're putting up $2.5 million without any signed deals.
They're not looking to move their headquarters from the firehouse.
No,
over to this-
no, that's a
Oh,
good
no.
question. No, this is like a development arm of this isn't she, as they call it, Schenectady Hardware and Electric, that's a great contractor. They kind of do development as a side business. All right.
Very nice.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call the question on, we have a motion and a second on the first resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention, so noted. And on the second resolution, dealing with seeker, I need a motion on that. Sharon, seconded by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, one abstention. Thank you, so noted. Next up, we revisit, we talked about this extensively the last two meetings, the SI group. This is final approval tonight. I asked Jamie to summarize, and we expect to move on this quickly because I think we've covered it. It's quite a lot of detail.
We held a public hearing last Wednesday. No one attended the hearing. No comments were received with respect to seeker. It was already covered when the original Gola Corporation headquarters was built in 2007, I think is when we did seeker on this. As you know, Metroplex's participation would be a $450,000 grant and exemption from sales taxes for the SI Group to relocate its headquarters from Niskayuna to Schenectady. Project is ready to go.
I need a motion on that. Second by Sharon. Any further discussion? We talked about it extensively.
Recuse.
Yep. Neil abstains. Any other comments? And again, we're working very, very hard to fill the Niskayuna site, and I'll have more on that as we continue to make progress. Any other comments? Seeing none? It is a beautiful site. We are spending a lot of time and effort on marketing that site, getting somebody, and we've had a lot of good cooperation. We've been meeting with the town supervisor, some of the town board members. I met last Friday with the school superintendent just to keep them posted on our efforts to fill that site. So, seeing no other questions, we'll call a question on this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention. Thank you. Number 3 is resolution 1382-20. We'll ask Jamie to give us an update.
From time to time, the board has extended a contract to T. Wilson Associates. Our friend Tom Wilson runs a women-owned business enterprise here in downtown Schenectady, also a property owner as well. Tom and his staff have done a lot of work for Metroplex over the years. This is an attempt to sort of consolidate some of the work that they've been doing into a single contract. The work calls for helping us with some of our property management, especially with the parking lots, some technical assistance. We have our monthly meetings at Sharon, among others, attend. A lot of folks from City Hall, and as well as our construction feasibility studies, where we have his firm sort of take a hard look at certain buildings, so we have a little more information for our prospective developers. The contract would be $72,000 for 2020.
And this is really an effort to cut costs, right? Because you kind of get them on a term contract with a fixed price.
Rather than a
versus
series
bill.
of piecemeal contracts.
Right, yeah. A motion on this, Sharon, second by Karen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed or any abstentions? Thank you. I'll move on to reconciliation and accounting. We have 2 motions or 2 resolutions here.
So it's audit season here at Metroplex. The auditors were here today for the IPAs. Land Bank, they were here, was it last week, David? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So and the Metroplex audit is coming up. This is annual resolutions that we bring to the board, looking to kind of reconcile our different projects. The objective is to complete or close out a series of projects. This year there's 24 of them. And what it does in net is to recoup about $72,000, goes back to the graces and for other projects in the organization. The first resolution closes 18 projects that fell under budget by $221,216. The second resolution, we're providing some additional supplemental funding for 6 projects that fell over budget by $148,859. The lion's share that is going to one project, our downtown fix-up program, which the board authorized last year. We ended up doing a lot of sidewalk work around the Center City parking lot right outside the building here, because there was some weird shifting that was taking place. The whole sidewalk was shifting out into the street, ended up kind of a condition that we weren't expecting, but we decided to fix and take care of. So there was a lot of work associated with that. So we overspent.
And the lights in front of the Foster building too.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And so this kind of reconciles all these different projects. You know, I remember back in the day where we didn't do 24 projects in a year, and here we're closing 24 over the last year. So
But it's a net gain because the projects that are closing out with a balance in our favor.
that's right. Most of them are fell in under budget. So
We have a motion and a second on this. Brad, seconded by Karen. Any discussion, comments, questions?
Very good.
Thank you for taking care of this. So that's on the first resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We need a motion and a second on the second resolution. Karen, seconded by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, we move on to election of officers, our annual meeting.
the annual ritual of the election of the secretary and treasurer. I didn't count how many consecutive years both Karen and Sharon have been doing their respective jobs here, but I would reappoint them as secretary and treasurer for the next year.
We appreciate their service. We need a motion and a second. Neil, thank you. Nancy, thank you. Any discussion? They both do a great job. Spend a lot of time here, constantly coming down, sign checks, do other things. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I'm going to go through the PowerPoint that I presented at the county legislature, just to show you what we told them, so everybody is familiar with what we're doing. It's
No popcorn.
It's a quick series of slides that summarizes our activities around the county. So I get to shift down to the other end of the table for once. So we just did this early February. We always lead by talking about the importance of momentum. We had over 100 announcements in 2019, which is really incredible. We are announcing something positive happening in the Schenectady County economy twice a week on average for 52 weeks a year, which is a torrid pace of development. The reason we do that is that the more results, every time we're announcing something, we usually get leads, we get more activity, more buzz. So it's a momentum business, and we're very proud of that momentum. Some of the key aspects of our program, smart growth, we're a single point of contact. This is versus many other counties in the state that have multiple organizations, dozens in some cases. We focus on real results, good paying jobs, quality construction. We're really here to rebuild, and we talked about this last month, the capital stock of the community, create tax base. We do a lot of green projects, and one of the most important things we do, keep our eye on, is protecting our aquifer, because our water supply is one of our great assets in Schenectady County. We create a lot of revenue. We just put out our annual pilot report with a lot of terrific help from Maureen. Our 68 pilots paid over $16 million in taxes, created 16 million plus in revenues for school districts, counties, and towns. And the vast majority of those pilots paid zero or a very nominal amount of money prior to us getting involved. So these are smart growth projects. This is a picture of the Mill District that we circulated a week or so ago. We start with Rotterdam, the old Curry Road Plaza at the bottom. Phase one of the residences at Vista Square is complete, it's filled, it's doing really well. The second phase, another $14 million investment is underway, putting this property on the tax rolls, redeveloping the property, turning an eyesore into an asset for Rotterdam. Great project, very, very strongly supported. We continue to have a lot of success with the Rotterdam Corporate Park. We remind everyone that the Rotterdam Corporate Park is bigger than Global Foundries. It's the biggest business park in the capital region, almost 4 million square feet. This year we had a couple more wins. We helped relocate a company from New Lebanon, New York called Riza. They're a certified MWBE. They do metal work, a very high skilled company. We moved them to building 14, and they're very happy there. We also did a 150,000 square foot building expansion to Building 9 at the park with the Gillespie Group. Building 9 currently houses a company we brought here a couple years ago from Florida, ironically called AMD, the American Medical Depot. They occupy 100,000 square feet. We built another 150, and Home Depot is building a distribution center there now as we speak. That's a $9.5 million investment. Over in Rotterdam, talking about the aquifer, this building was just horrible. It fronts on the highway that goes through Rotterdam Junction. It was lighted, and right behind the building, literally behind the garage, Nancy knows this, is the aquifer, the well field that we all drink from, and it was the service station. So Jamie, Maureen, Jennifer spent a lot of time that we worked closely with the town to clean up this. This was one of the threats to our aquifer so we proactively worked to get title. The town got a state grant to help buy the property, and we paid for the cleanup and demo, and it's something that we're very proud of. It's been
Towns are great to work with.
yeah, it's been on our bucket list for a long time. Also, the former L&M Motel, you go down 890, you're at GE, they have distinguished visitors every day at GE. People come into downtown, they had this old motel that was just a mess. And again, right next to the aquifer, right next to the well fields, cleaned that up and took 4 different sewer systems out from underneath the building. Just our luck that they had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different septic systems that had to be cleaned up underneath the building. But with Jamie's help, it got done. A lot of success with the land bank. People tend to think that the land bank only focuses on the city, but David and Mark have done a phenomenal job. There's some great examples of land bank success in Rotterdam. Again, from zombies to homes. This one is really a lot of people are excited about. This one is going to happen this year, right, David? I mean, you see a beautiful street, well maintained, and then you have this property. So again, with the help of the land bank and the funding they've been able to win from the state, we're making a big difference. Also in Rotterdam, the old Malozzi's, the former Malozzi's banquet facility is being converted into a senior daycare facility operated by St. Peter's. Creates a lot of jobs, retains a lot of jobs, helps a lot of people. They pick folks up, they take care of them, they bring them medical appointments, they bring them home so that people can stay out of skilled nursing facilities. It's a $3 million project, and that's underway. In Princetown, we really helped this project. I was at every meeting, big review. Todd should be very proud tonight because we have stuff on the big board for both Princetown and Duanesburg, and that was Todd's goal when we
one slide.
When he joined the board. But this project will go forward this year, create some nice tax base. Really helped out this dairy farmer who was really in desperate straits, selling only a small portion of this site, but going to create a lot of power.
And how many panels are there, Ray?
10,000 or something.
77,000.
70.
The disabled veteran who couldn't work at the farm anymore, so this is giving him the opportunity to live his life, basically.
Yeah, and you cannot see it from the road. It's under a power line. It is like the dream solar site. So great project. And again,
Where can you locate it for us geographically?
You can't get there from here.
yeah.
Somebody did.
It's in the north end of Princetown, which is almost out of town and out of the county. We had some conversation at the beginning part of the project about its impacts and things, and we kind of did some analysis.
These are solar panels.
Correct.
And what happens with that output?
It goes right into the main line.
Yeah, the uniqueness of this particular project is its proximity to the main power lines. That was kind of what made it so attractive.
So they feed it into the grid. It actually helps the resiliency of the grid for the capital region because it's 20 megs. It's a big project. So it helps everybody's power become, more dependable, more reliable in the region. So great project. The developer, the company's out of Washington State. And the state is actually guaranteeing is behind the project. So it's very helpful. You get a little bit of assistance with facades and some exterior, what would you call patio space for the Back Barn Brewery. A great, project in Duanesburg. Woman came back from a career in the military and the defense industry and came back to Duanesburg. It's a great spot. If you're out that way, you really should stop in. it's a nice project, and we're happy that we were able to help out a little bit. Also in Dwaynesburg, we've had a lot of success, as you'll see in a minute, the business park we're doing at the airport in Glenville. We have a little airport in Dwaynesburg, and we're hoping to kind of recreate the success we've had with the Glenville Business Park at the county airport. Out at this airport in Dwaynesburg, we're able to bring this company HPU and make computer-controlled hydraulic systems, recruit them there to be a launch tenant for that business park, and it opens up about 15 acres of additional sites for development. Nice little project.
I think the work we did a year ago on this, with helping them with creating this,
The sewer.
the sewers,
Yes.
the commercial footprint,
Yeah.
really helped bring that project.
Exactly, and it's, again, a lot of places in Waynesburg and Princetown, people are very cautious about development. We totally get that and respect that, but around that airport site, it's kind of a commercial area, so people are like, yeah, that's cool, let's do projects there, and so that's moving forward.
That's at the intersection almost of
7 and 20.
720.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going the wrong way, sorry. Niskuna, we're underway. This photo was taken just about the day of this presentation, so February 3rd. Really great project, a $30 million development of the Williams Auto Parts, some call it the Williams Auto Junkyard in Niskuna. Really adds to the waterfront. Really, it's just downriver from the terrific development at Mohawk Harbor. Project's underway. Takes a site that paid $15,000 a year in taxes. For 5 years, you're going to pay $150 in the pilot, so 10 times as much, and then it goes to full value. And really going to create some nice tax base, some nice residential units. They're going to do a trail, parkland. It's right along the bike trail. One side of the project has the bike trail, the other side is the river. It's going to be a very desirable place to live. We have small expansion, a couple of phased projects at E1, which is a very important manufacturing company. It's actually owned by Warren Buffett's company in Niskuna. They're doing very well, so we were able to help them out a little bit. Had the land bank again, Cornelius Ave underway, huge. Just stayed after this owner on Mohawk Road, got him to take it down, and big win. Van Antwerp will hopefully come down this year. We work closely with the town and help the town understand, thanks to David's expertise, the whole process of going through an abandonment. And that's a very, the neighbors were really fed up with that situation on Van Antwerp. We also have one on Console that we're working on. So even in this unit, people are surprised you have a serious zombie property issue, and we've been tackling the worst of the worst and working closely with the town on this.
I've been watching the one on Cornelius.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, every time I drive by, and the guys out there, they wave.
Yeah, no, it's great.
They
Tell
know
them
I'm
you're
watching.
the best
Yeah.
friend. They know your car.
Keep watching it for us. And again, this is a priority for us now. I mentioned this earlier. We're working very closally on the redevelopment of this site. We'll have more updates for you in the future. In Glenville, a lot of success, new business, beautiful new building right on Route 50 at the entrance of the airport business park. Again, this was land that never paid taxes since the airport opened in 1927. We're putting businesses out there. Terrific building, just gorgeous. People love it. We have a new $10 million, 47,000 square foot building that this is an early picture taken last year, but it's very close to being finished. And
Yeah, they just got their TCO.
yeah, it's just gorgeous. And again, so it's the annuity effect of a good Metroplex project. We took this site that the county owned. The county got into $510,000.
LGOs.
No, that's coming. This is the county gets $510,000 from the sale of the property, puts property on the tax rolls that has never been on the tax rolls, and then it creates an annuity effect. The county airport, we weren't involved in this, but we noted this at the county, put about $10 million into repaving at the airport this year. The main taxiway, which is over 7,000 feet, 1.2 million square feet of repaving work happened at the county airport last year. Very, very important employer with the Air Guard and the Navy Reserve Center and now the airport business park. The Glenville Business and Tech Park, like the Rotterdam Corporate Park, is a major employer. We've had a lot of success there. At the bottom is the new, relatively new CDTI building, followed by Old Dominion. I won't go through. We've had a tremendous amount of success there. David and Jamie played a key role. We won a state grant to help improve the rail spur at the park and the switches and the trackage. And that project is finished up. Great project. It really was important for Dimension Fabricators and Adirondack Beverages. Together, they employ about 400 good paying jobs at the park. We were able to get a state grant and some match from us and from the two companies, and we've upgraded the rail line. And that helps us with those two companies, but it also helps us market the park because the rail spur is in better shape. Belgioso, as Neil just said, 100,000 square feet, new construction, $30 million investment, totally on time. We're looking at a March ribbon cutting. Appreciate Neil's help on that. Price Chopper is an important customer to them. This company has 15 plants around the country, world-class company, phenomenal.
Just a little advanced planning when they're gonna do the opening, so we can be there.
Yeah, I understand.
Not the
Yep.
day before.
No,
Sometimes right.
it's, I tell you, there's a lot of interest from the state. The state has helped us with this project, and we expect high-ranking state officials to attend. The fact that they're gonna buy so much milk from the dairy farmers around the state is very, very significant. So and LaChase, I gotta do a shout out to LaChase Construction, based here in Schenectady with the regional office, phenomenal job. I mean, Phil Joseph could not be happier with the quality of construction from the folks at LaChase. We're also underway with a new 100,000 square foot building. Right now, it's under construction, $15 million investment for Adirondack Beverages. Building is on schedule. Again, the momentum in the park. This all started, and I kind of tweaked some of the county folks about this, where you had nothing happen at this Glenville Park for decades. And the first action, the key action, was when we sold what had been a polluted tank farm site for $100,000 at the entrance of the park. That was $10,000 an acre for a dirty site. But I had people early on, this is early on in my tenure, that on the county legislature at the time, I won't name names, but who vigorously opposed the sale of this thing, even though it was a linchpin to all the redevelopment that's followed at the Glenville Park. So I couldn't help myself, so I had to remind folks of how important that vote was. But since then, we've had two CDDI buildings built. We had Old Dominion build a new building. We had Dimension Fabricators expand. We've had Belgioso build a new building. We've had SQP build a new building. Adirondack Beverage do a new building and expand. So we've had a lot of success in Glenville. Little project, but very, very important. Oddly, the middle school and the high school in Glenville abut the Glenville Business and Tech Park. It's kind of hard to see here, but we put $108,000 up to help separate and build a fence and a sidewalk to separate the business park from the students. Got a lovely note from the school superintendent. They're very happy. This is something that should have been done a long time ago when the park was originally planned, and we're happy to get it done this year. In Glenville, small item, but important, we used some funding from the IDA for this, or from the Capital Resource Corporation we won. The Woodland Club, the old Woodland Club, was sitting there in Glenville, and the town did not want to see it develop. Someone had proposed senior units there, somebody had proposed apartments. The town supervisor and the town board, which is their right, really didn't want to see that development there, neither did the neighborhood. So we were able to purchase the site, negotiate a good price, and the county and the IDA basically split the cost, so we added to the parkland out there. And that's important to economic development too. People love parklands, preserves. The Indian Hill Preserve is beautiful, so we're able to include that property in a park. In Scotia, we had a big win. Again, David did a phenomenal job taking down the Mohawk Carpets building, which is right at the point there where Route 5 and 50 split. We want to do more in Scotia. We had a big meeting here yesterday with the bid and with some of the local officials. But Scotia, we have some good things happening in the village of Scotia. We want to keep the momentum going. Of course, in the city, we had a great year, another year of great growth downtown and in city neighborhoods. We were able to bring the headquarters of the leading solar company in the country to Schenectady, the distributed solar development, moved their headquarters to Mohawk Harbor. Their backer is BlackRock, And BlackRock has $7.4 trillion of assets under management, which is really incredible. They're very big. So, it's really hard to even get your arms around that number, but this is the kind of company that we're bringing here and doing deals with, and we're very excited about that. We were able to, a couple years ago, we bought this company next to Villa Italia, and a complex ICPD, really wonderful company, high tech, does pharmaceutical testing. They created a pharmaceutical company called Bravo Biosciences, and they won $9 million in funding, and we continue to see growth and expansion at that deal that we were able to bring to the city. We brought a couple of gaming companies to downtown Schenectady, and SUNY Schenectady is basing their gaming program at Center City, and they'll be doing a ribbon cutting for that facility, and we'll get you all an invite to that shortly. And our shared workspace, our co-work space in Center City now has 40 tenants, which is really amazing. We've helped them out a little bit. That's where we started with Beekman. Beekman had one employee, and we said, well, we'll help you with the space and our shared workspace, and now they're booming. So again, the perfect segue to Beekman. Their headquarters continues to grow. They continue to add staff. We had the warehouse sale here last year. It was wildly successful, and they're going to have it again this year. That'll be announced shortly. So that creates a lot of sales tax. Again, sales tax is what funds Metroplex, goes round and
That
round.
thing was taken in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
The people waiting in line for
Yeah.
trying to get in.
And they sold out, they promised more stock this year, but that brought people from all over the Northeast, and, they have a lot of fans. We continue to bring professional offices. We just announced an engineering company. Stewart Jones is one of the big names in legal. They're moving, they're opening an office at the Harbor. Today, we announced the magazine is opening. We sent you a copy of the release, moving people up from New York City. We filled up almost 100,000 square feet of office space at the Harbor in the last couple of years. We bought a company, headquarters, statewide underwriting services, looked at sites from, Fishkill to Glens Falls, put their headquarters.
Stu Jones, he has partners now, so there's two.
Yeah, Hacker Murphy, Stuart Jones, Hacker Murphy, yep. So again, we keep winning these deals, headquarter deals, good paying jobs. Major wins, we won the $10 million DRI. We have our next public meeting of the committee tomorrow night. That was a big one, and of course, the effort, with Neil and his team and working closely with SI Group. I tell you, based on my first meeting with the company, I never thought we were going to keep them here. It was a really uphill struggle. It was a lot of work by a lot of people, and that was a big win for our efforts last year. Whistling Kettle was a big win. We talked about it earlier. They've been successful in other locations and helped to spur other development. It's a retail store plus food and beverage. Raw, which is very, very popular on J Street, expanded. The way station project is moving forward. We had a meeting on that today with Anissa Wahid, who's a very, very successful entrepreneur. Again, we weren't using this building. We're selling it, putting it on the tax roll. It's going to be an interesting, new attraction downtown. So we're very excited about that. A lot of openings this year. The old Turbush and Powell building became the Fitzgerald Apartments, and the Clinton Street Mercantile, very, very successful retail incubator on Clinton Street. We had the Not open in the former Annie Schaefer building. I think they're fully leased up. If not, I think their signs are down, so they're fully leased, I think.
They're not fully leased, there are a couple more available.
Okay.
Yeah, almost there.
What a transformation, almost $6 million, and that building had been empty for a long time. The former Labor Temple building across from City Hall is fully leased, ground floor retail and apartments. Schenectady Trading Company on Lower State Street, David helped us with that, thank you, to kind of keep the momentum going on Lower Union. We talked a lot at these meetings about Frog Alley, the Mill Artisan District, transformational project, and again, the Electric City apartment right next door. So $55 million on one block on Lower State where there was no activity. Former Sears and Pentagon came down, really blighted buildings. That gives us a great development site. We just met with a prospect on that today. This building should be coming down next week or the week after. It's my least favorite building of all time. The blank wall that faces State Street, no design, no nothing. I don't know if at some point if that was considered like a modernistic work of art, but to me, it's just a blank base and it's just a blighted building on the Proctor's
They might
block.
have said it's an improvement. Left
Yeah,
it at that.
yeah, it was just, it's awful. So there was actually a gorgeous building there years ago. It was an example of like bad architecture in the 60s. Again, this team, Jennifer, I don't know how many times she's been in that building helping. It's just ridiculous to get the facade done. You see the improvements, and again, we're putting this building back on the tax roll. It's a very important building downtown. The old, working with Union College, getting that bank done on the corner of Knott Van Rankin, live in Schenectady, well underway on Barrett Street, announced the sale of the former OTB on Smith and Clinton, very, very important. Some of the lighting that has really gotten us a lot of attention, the bridge, the parking garage, the lighting in front of Foster. Thank Jamie and Jennifer and David, everyone has been involved in that. We can synchronize the lighting, don't ask me how, but City Hall, the train station, Key Bank got done this year. We have more coming, we're gonna add more lights on J Street. This is something and it can reflect the holidays and on and on, so it's been very successful. In the neighborhoods, we have a really rapid pace of development. Right now, we're in the ground with Hillside View Phase 2 on Albany Street, $40 million. David successfully redeveloped and sold 839 Eastern. We have in the ground now, $19 million project, Renaissance Square on Eastern Avenue, and we'll be moving forward, hopefully shortly.
Is that the one where the fencing is all
Yep,
around?
fence is up, ready to start demo, and
University
there's,
Street is on one side, or?
yeah, and then across the street, you have St. Mary's, this fence, the old school, and so it's a two-part project, $12 million renovation of the Elmer Avenue School. The land bank has been a tremendous success story under David's leadership, 200 plus demolitions, 20 renovations, $7.5 million. 95% of that won with competitive grants, a little bit of money from the county, a little bit of money from us, but most of it's OPM, won on a competitive basis, leveraging $96 million in new investment. So this was something that, again, that was up on Crane Street after the new library opened next to Family Dollar, big demo that was, a building that was just a mess. Sharon knows that one well. Also in the city of Schenectady, we're underway with the $28 million Yates Village development, the new $13 million Boys Club. A lot of folks played a role in that. Our role was helping them get New Markets tax credits and state funding.
Which girls?
Boys and Girls Club, thank you. The difference between the 8 million and 13 million was those two funding sources that we helped line up. The new Mount Pleasant Library opened. Sharon played a key role on that. And again, we're working with the Miracle on Craig Street people. We talked about it at the last meeting. We're closely monitoring the project. They're out to bid. They have bids back coming back in early April. We'll have a update then. And nothing's going forward without our approval. Also in the city of Schenectady, long anticipated the redevelopment of the former Grossman site, the all-town gas and convenience, but a better brand than most. It should be a nice addition to the Erie corridor. We're moving ahead with tonight. They're on the Planning Commission agenda, the Trusco project. We hope to close on that on February 28th. We did receive funding for the new dock at Mohawk Harbor. There's a rendering of that below. And we received another piece of funding, $1.5 million, to build a dock out near DE that will help them transport their turbines and generators on the canal to world markets. So we kind of won two big dock projects in the city this year. We have a couple of slides about rivers here. These were more important for the county, but they're worth noting. The rivers folks promised to invest $300 million. They invested $330 million. Again, the overall project at the harbor is $550 million. They promised to create 1,000 jobs. They created 1,000 jobs. They pay about $4 million a year in property taxes. We're the only casino of the four that did it right.
The others all got property tax deals, which were not supposed to be allowed under the state laws. But the developers basically took the local communities and their development people to the cleaners. And so we're the only ones that stood tall and did it right. I'm very proud of that. In fact, I got a phone call from USA Today, and they called me 4 different times to ask me the same question. Did you give any incentives to the casino? And I said, no, 4 times. And they called me back 4 different times because they couldn't believe it, because everyone else gave away incentives. So we're the only ones that collect. So our casino pays more property tax than the other 3 casinos combined. They're the only ones to pay the full mortgage recording tax of $5 million. No one else paid it. We're the only ones to pay sales tax to build and equip the casino. Everyone else got sales tax exemptions, which they were not supposed to get under the state law. Rivers pays a direct cut of their revenues to the city and the county, and that number has increased steadily every year, and it should reach $3 million this year. So 3 to the county, 3 to the city. So they're paying 4 in property, and they're paying, and they're generating a tremendous amount of sales tax. Around the casino, there's been about $100 million in new public and private investment, infrastructure, and other private investments. Rivers is the #1 ranked tourist destination in the capital region. And because of Rivers, we've had our tourism spending increase more than any other county in the region for the last 2 years. And this is a study that's done by Oxford Economics. It's a very well-regarded study that the state pays for every year. So tourism spending in Schenectady County has been up.
Isn't there a case to be made for that being compared to the rest of the state? I mean, who else has done more than we have?
No, here's the thing. Let me just finish these bullets on the casino, and I'll address that point. It's a very good point. The casino has turned out to be a de facto convention center for us. It has tremendous parking, and they had about 200 meetings there, over 200 meetings there last year, bringing 20,000 people to Schenectady. They were first to get the sports book, to bring people here. They do these free summer concerts that have been a huge attraction, and their team members donate a tremendous amount of money and time to various charitable organizations. What's absolutely mystifying is, with all of these tremendous results and numbers, and by far the most successful casino of the 4, we still have people come to the city council meetings and the county legislature meetings and write emails to say, we failed by not doing a community benefit agreement with the casino. Well, first, 2 things. One, the community benefit agreements were not allowed under state law. The state set the requirements for what the casino was supposed to pay. We're the only ones that did it right. The other communities wound up giving benefits when they weren't envisioned or really allowed under the state law. But these community benefit agreements, people point to the one done in Seneca County. The casino bought Seneca County a fire truck. Okay? We would rather have the $4 million in property taxes than of 1 fire truck. I mean, well, we continue to have people. It is, so Neil, to your point, which is going, we did it right. We have the most successful casino. It's bringing people here. It's a de facto convention center. We have a great operator. We picked the right one. Instead of being lauded for this and saying ours pays more property tax than the other 3 combined, we still have this undertone in the community of people saying, you did it wrong. You didn't do a community benefit agreement, even though they weren't allowed. And you should have negotiated. Well, the other communities were basically taken to the cleaners because they did a community benefit agreement, and they got these token rewards and gave away the store in the terms of pilots, property tax exemptions, mortgage recording tax exemptions, et cetera, et cetera. So it really bothers us, and it bothers the casino operators that this rogue element in the community continues to bring up this topic, including one of the city council people who just was an outgoing member. And with all due respect to him, he kept saying, well, I voted against the casino because we didn't do a community benefit agreement. The community benefit agreements were not allowed. They were used as ruses by these other developers in these 3 other communities to take those communities to the cleaners and basically get all kinds of entitlements and incentives that they were not supposed to get. Yes,
Just thinking about that, has anybody written the right paper about what is correct about that?
we did, yeah.
And making it available to the world, if
We
you will?
have, we
And
have,
every time that people bring it
yeah, we
up,
have.
here's the facts.
We
Go
do,
away.
and we do, and
That's it.
as recently as this week, we have a fact sheet on this, and we've said this, but, some people just would rather complain than deal with the facts. But we're very proud of this project. Again, it is not just a casino, it is the entire waterfront development, which again, it sets us apart from the other facilities. So it's just a point of personal pride because we really, and by now it wasn't just us, our operator, their culture, the Rush Street Gaming people, their culture was, look at the state law says don't have any incentives. They didn't ask for them. We didn't, but in other places they received them in terms, and anyway. Bottom line for last year, we brought over $330 million in new investment to Schenectady County, and we were involved in the retention or creation of over 700 jobs. So it was a good year. We wanted to share that with you because we shared it with the county. We had a good, well, it's all the staff here. Yeah, I just want to thank the staff. I mean, we have a small staff. They work very hard, and we put out a tremendous amount of projects and activity. And it is not just, the projects fall out of the sky. These are very well-planned, targeted investments that we're doing, like we did with Franklin Street tonight. They're not willy-nilly where people come in and say, I want to build a distribution center out in some farm field. That's not what we're about. We're trying to drive investment to sites and do projects that are properly sited. So I really want to thank the staff though. Yes.
You mentioned the industrial parks, and you mentioned Rotterdam is the largest in the region. Well, when you add, and you've said this before, when you add all three of the parks together, Glenville and Scotia, we may have the largest industrial park system in the state of New York.
There are other communities that have more. When you add GE in, both downtown and Niskuna, it's a very large footprint, but there are other places that have larger.
Large.
Yeah, but it is something we promote.
I would
We
just
do
think
pro-
when you present it, might want to present the three industrial parks together, because that's a big deal.
Yeah,
altogether.
we try to, again, we take this to show on the road to a lot of places, so people don't want to hear about Glenville, they don't want to hear about Rotterdam, so we do what we do. Any other questions or comments? We're still on schedule, it's only 6:45, we try to get out of here in an hour. But we appreciate it, and we appreciate everyone on the board for all your support and help, and we got to keep it rolling.
Congratulations on your
Everybody, thank you. So no other business, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
So.
Thanks, have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.